Hello, High Five family. My name is Corey Andrews. I'm so excited that you are interested in our American History Tour. Welcome to our itinerary video. Misty, go ahead and introduce yourself and we'll run them through this itinerary.
Yeah, my name is Misty Lynn Howard. I run the podcast Faith Ignited. I am very passionate about history, especially faith based history. So I've been able to help put together the itinerary for this American History Tour for next summer. And I am so excited. I think you're going to love it. We're going to see so many incredible things.
I've learned so much already from Misty. She's taught me so much about history and in so many ways, and I'm excited to learn more from her on this adventure. Misty, tell them just real quickly before we jump in the itinerary, tell them just a little more about your podcast. What's it about?
Yeah, so my mantra, I guess you could say, is putting God back into history. Because most of the textbooks today, they're all more of like a secular bent. We don't really talk about God in our, history books anymore. And so I kind of go back and forth between world history. I have a lot of American history because it's got a special place in my heart because I feel that the hand of God in laying the foundation of this nation is just, oh, it's so obvious. That's what George Washington says. That it's just, he said, like, it's impossible to not see how God was involved. So yeah, that's what I do. I do narratives and I kind of help teach it in a different perspective so that we can see how God had his hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Love your podcast. Check out the Faith Ignited podcast. And I love that theme, and we want to carry that throughout this itinerary as we go to these incredible places. We want to see where Providence, the hand of Providence, was there helping these patriots as they fought for freedom. And so excited to take that Christ-centered view to this American history experience. And so, without further ado, let's jump into the itinerary. I know that's what you came here for. So we want to tell you what's gonna happen. So day one, we're gonna fly into Boston, and we're gonna ask that you arrive in Boston on that Monday before 6 o'clock. Now, some people might be interested in flying in the day ahead. We can help you with that as far as helping you get a hotel the night before. If you need help, and you could be at the same hotel where we'll stay the next night. But we'd love to, yeah, let us know. Reach out if we can help you on that end. But we're going to stay in Boston that first night. And we'll also have an opening orientation where we'll kind of walk you through what the week or the 10 days is going to look like and talk about some of the themes that we want to take and maybe a few of the rules for you rowdy ones out there. But no, it'll be a wonderful experience for us to get to know each other in that way. And speaking of rules, and let me throw one out right now, is one of the rules that we have on our High Five Live tours, which is important as we tell you the itinerary, is that we are flexible and friendly. And there's a few more that go along with that. We're also faithful and believing that things are going to work out the way that they're supposed to, but flexible and friendly. So as we go through, right, we're a couple months out before we leave on this trip, and so little things might change on this itinerary. So just remember to be flexible and friendly as we take on this endeavor of taking you to some of the most incredible sites in the world. Some things might have to change here and there, but we are going to take you to as many of these sites that we're about to tell you about as possible. So that's day one. Get a great night's sleep because the next day, day two, the adventure begins. And on that adventure, we're going to drive just 45 minutes outside of Boston and go to this place called Plymouth. Plymouth is amazing. This is where the Pilgrims on the Mayflower landed. We're going to tell you some stories. We're going to go to this monument. I don't know how many of you have heard of this, but it's called the Monument to the Forefathers, and it's one of my favorite places we're going to go on this tour. It is so cool, so powerful, and we'll tell you about that and why that matters. We're going to jump on the Mayflower 2 exact replica of the Mayflower, and that's going to be a cool experience to be able to go down and see what it looked like, what it must have been like to sail across the Atlantic on this boat. And we're also going to go take you to a little living history museum place over there called the Tuxet, and it kind of see some of the village, what things may have looked like, what life may have been like for those pilgrims. And that day is just going to be incredible. In fact, at the end of that day, we're going to try to fit in a place called Quincy. Quincy, do you remember? Do you want to tell them a little bit about Quincy, Misty?
Yeah, so Quincy has a lot of ties with John Adams and his family. And so you get to see a little bit about their family history and what amazing people they were. I mean, they're probably some of the most well-known figures. We have, John Adams and Abigail Adams, and then John Quincy Adams, who went on to become a president as well. And so, yeah, very faithful people as well, not just patriotic. And so, yeah, that'll be a really neat stop.
That would be a cool one. Hopefully, we can fit it in that day because that would be awesome to introduce you to one of the founding fathers on that first day,
Mm-hmm.
the first full day of touring. And then the next day, we're going to stay around Boston for a little bit, and we're going to take you to the Freedom Trail and introduce you to that. There's so many cool things on the Freedom Trail, the Boston Massacre, and we're also going to go to this another kind of living history museum called the Tea Party ships and museum there, and it's an immersive experience where you feel like you are one of the people storming the ships in the Boston Harbor, and you actually literally get to throw tea off the side of the boat. It's crazy. It's so fun. I've done it, and it's a blast. And so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna go back to the Freedom Trail. You could see Paul Revere's house that day. We'll kind of get you. We'll guide you and give you some options of places that you can see there. We'll have lunch at some cool markets there, the Quincy Market and Faneuil Market there. Great place for some shopping, but also you can get your laps to roll. And it's kind of fun. And that would be a great day. We'll also run up to Bunker Hill, which is an incredible monument. It used to be one of the tallest monuments, one of the tallest structures in America for a while. And then also we'll see Lexington and Concord, the shot heard around the world, right, where it all kind of started there. And so that'll be day 3, and then on day 4 we'll leave Boston. We'll head down to New York City, a little bit of a drive day, about 4 hours down to New York City, and we're going to see a couple of little places there. But the one I'm most excited about, because I've never done it before, I've seen it, but I've never toured the Statue of Liberty. And so we're going to go through the Statue of Liberty, and I'm actually super excited about it because I haven't done it before, and love, some awesome history there. And then from there, and Misty, I'll pass it on to you. I know I'm just like so excited. I keep going on all these days, but I'll pass it on to you. Tell them what's next. Tell them after New York, where are we heading?
Okay, great. So picking up day 4, this is part of the tour that I got to go see and scope out for. So we'll be down in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is just what a historic city. Absolutely amazing, especially the area surrounding where we're going to be. So we're going to go see the Liberty Bell, super iconic.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go and take a tour of Independence Hall, which was my favorite part, because to think, and you get to go and stand in the room where the founders literally signed the Declaration of Independence, what was essentially their death warrants if we did not win the revolution. Big deal.
Yeah.
And also where they, had the Constitutional Convention. So after that, we get to go and have lunch at the Reading Terminal Market, which is really neat. Corey knows a little bit more about that than I do, but I know that they have some Amish influence at that market, right?
Yep, some Amish shops, and it's a great place to go and grab some fun food there. You can get your Philly cheesesteak if that's what you're feeling. You know what I mean? And then after you get that cheesesteak, we'll take you over to the Rocky Steps, and we'll work that cheesesteak off as I race you up the steps to see who can get to the top. No, but Philadelphia, I'm so excited. That'll be such a fun day.
Yeah, and then as we come outside of Philadelphia, we're going to catch Valley Forge, which, if you're very familiar with American history, that's a big deal. Like, a lot happened at Valley Forge. That's where the Continental Army really came together. And there's a lot of miracles associated with that as well. So, speaking of miracles, then we're going to head down to Gettysburg. But just a side note, because I have to throw this out, we're going to stay in between, okay, before we get to Gettysburg. We're going to stay at a place called the Cork Factory. At least that's currently on our itinerary, which I got a chance to stay there. And it was actually built back in the 1800s. And it was literally a factory where they made corks. And now they've turned it into this really ritzy, amazing hotel. So I think it's on the historical registry. So it's a pretty big deal.
That's actually so fun. And we try to do that, right? Like, let's immerse ourselves into some old building, you know what I mean? Nice.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? But like, let's get into the history and maybe stay a night in a historic place like that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what I call living and breathing the historical aspect. Um, and then, yeah, okay, coming down to Gettysburg. We'll be spending day 6 in Gettysburg. So many cool things to see at this location. I mean, it's kind of a really challenging time in American history, right? Like one of the bloodiest battles that ever took place in the Civil War. But the spirit of the place is just incredible, and the selfless acts, and you'll never view your freedoms the same way after experiencing Gettysburg. That's something that I can promise you. And we'll not just see the battlefield, but we'll get to go and see the Soldiers National Cemetery, and you'll be able to see in the cemetery where Lincoln stood to deliver the Gettysburg Address, and you're just surrounded by the graves of the soldiers, which is such a sobering feeling. But again, it the spirit is
Sacred
amazing.
place, yeah, for sure.
Really is.
Okay, and then so excited. I love that place. Love these, and we're gonna have like these fun spots, but also these powerful spots, and that's one of the things. High Five Live Tours, our motto is where we mix that fun and that joy, and it is. It's going to be an adventure where we'll feel a lot of powerful things. And then after Gettysburg, we get to head down to one of the coolest places in the world, Washington D.C., as far as the amount of monuments put together to celebrate incredible heroes and art and all of that. So one of the places I'm most excited for, just an incredible place, is the Lincoln Memorial. One of those heroes that we'll talk a lot about, I'm sure, at Gettysburg, and then to go to his memorial there in Washington D.C. And then across the pond, you'll see the Washington Monument that just stands above and highlights that hero. That's going to be one of our focal points throughout this tour, as we talked about the the power of the Revolutionary War and the history behind that, and how he led the nation as its first president. And then there's just so many places to see. Oh, also this day when we head to DC, we'll also have church in Washington DC, which I think will be a fun and a cultural experience. Just a cool place to go to church on that day, on that Sunday. And it'll be kind of a sacred day as we go to these memorials, the World War II memorial, and some of those others, Martin Luther King, Thomas Jefferson memorial, and then we'll head over to the Arlington Cemetery there, and some just a phenomenal spirit there. Misty, you went there recently. What was your experience at Arlington?
Oh yeah. Oh, I loved Arlington. I mean, you'll just see the graves of people who have died serving in the military just stretch on for miles. But I loved especially the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which you kind of walk up to it, and I don't think I've experienced quiet like that outside of the temple.
Yeah.
It gives you so much. I was so impressed walking in, and everyone was just so respectful. And the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, they have buried several bodies that are unnamed people that have died in different wars, and it's been guarded for almost 100 years. Like, and when I say guarded, I mean day and night. You can watch the change of the guard.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I really enjoyed seeing that.
Yeah, it'll just be a cool and a sacred and powerful day for us there in DC. But then that won't be it. The next day we're coming back. Or well, we'll be there still, I guess, because there's more to see on the National Mall there. We'll drive by the White House and wave to whoever the new president is by the time that we go there, and then we'll also go to the museum. So many museums there. There's the museum or Smithsonian Museum of Natural History. The one that we'll probably go together to is the Smithsonian Museum of American History, because it's American History tour. It kind of fits. But then there's also the archival record. What is it called? What's the actual name of it? The National Archives. That's what it is. So the National Archives, they actually have the original Declaration of Independence there, right? Like on display in the National Archive, and some other incredible, the Constitution, other incredible documents, and you can see the actual signatures, and so that'll be a phenomenal experience. And then we'll kind of go to some and let you, if there's some, like the Holocaust Museum is also there, United States Holocaust Memorial is there, and some other really powerful places that you could go and explore a little bit on your own, or you could stay with us and go look at some of those places. And then at the end of the day, we'll also head out to a place that Misty's been that I haven't been to yet. Um, Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon. Yeah, that's right. I'm like the biggest George Washington nerd ever. So that was a great experience for me. And it gives you a lot of perspective. Well, for first off, it's beautiful. Like one of the most beautiful things I saw back east was Mount Vernon. And it makes you understand what a sacrifice it was for George Washington to have to leave his home. And he said that he, all he wanted to do was to die on his farm, but he instead sacrificed, so much in the American cause. And that just kept playing through my mind as we walked around Mount Vernon. And it's right there on the Potomac. And you get a tour of the house, but they have other things you can see too. Like you get to see the grave of George Washington and see like the stables and the gardens. And yeah, all of it is pretty remarkable. It gives you a lot of respect for George Washington and who he was.
Yeah, so cool. I'm excited for that one too. And this trip, and as you can tell, this is our first time doing this American history trip. We've been to those places, but we haven't taken a group, and so come be a part of the first voyage, the maiden voyage of Ultimate American History Trip with High Five Live Tours. We'd love for you to come and join us. But that's not it. There's still more. We still got one more day. We'll head down to Virginia. So from Massachusetts all the way down to Virginia, and we'll end up in Williamsburg. And I'll let Misty kind of end it off there, telling you a little bit about Williamsburg.
Yeah, so Williamsburg, they've sectioned off about 300 acres to create something called Colonial Williamsburg. Now, I don't know if you can find hardly a city in America that has more of a rich history, especially when it comes to the Revolutionary War, than Williamsburg. So they took those 300 acres and they created a living history museum. So they preserved a lot of the buildings. A lot of them are original to the colonial period. And they have people dressed up like colonials and they give tours. And you get to see some buildings that were really instrumental in the beginning of the revolution as well as the end of the revolution. You'll be walking the same streets that people like George Washington and Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson walked down, and be able to see a church that is still in operation today that they attended, and be able to see where Thomas Jefferson went when he attended college in Williamsburg. So that was also a huge highlight of the trip for me because it's so immersive. And that's what we're really hoping for this tour, that it's going to be something that you feel like you're stepping back in time and that you're getting to experience history through the lens of the people who actually lived it. So that's going to be a real winner for the tour. And then we'll fly out from there, right? And probably be flying out from somewhere in Virginia. And it'll be, yeah.
Was it Richmond? Is that where we were flying out
I think
of?
we're planning on Richmond.
Richmond
or Norfolk, but I think I think Richmond is the plan right now.
The plan,
Correct
yeah.
me if I'm wrong.
Currently, we'll fly out of Richmond, and you should be able to fly out. We would recommend maybe not an early flight, but just because you'll probably be beat. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but we're packing as much in to those 10 days as possible. But it will be an adventure worth every step. As we go through and we walk in the places where these heroes of the revolution, these founding fathers, walked. And so grateful for them. The more I study and prepare and have seen and walked in these places, the more gratitude I have for this incredible nation that they made possible because of their willingness to sacrifice. And I can just tell you that whatever sacrifice is required for you to have to come and join us on this trip, it's going to be worth it. As you come and feel that gratitude yourself and grow closer to God as well, and in gratitude for Him and His goodness and allowing us to be a part of this. This isn't just for adults. It isn't just for kids. It isn't just for Americans. Anybody is welcome to come and enjoy this adventure. And we're grateful for you and your desire to want to learn more about God and to learn more about this nation that He helped to found for us. I think that's it. Is there anything else, Misty? Did we forget anything? Oh, the bus. We didn't talk about the bus. The bus is going to be incredible. We use a company that we absolutely love. The bus drivers are always amazing. They become our best friends on the trip. The message, we always have fun on our buses. We do a lot of fun different things, some activities. We'll share stories, and you got to hear Misty share some of these American history stories. You're going to love it, every second of it. And it's going to be amazing. Oh, and we'll play some good American music as well on the trip. So come and some good music always just helps those bus rides be a lot of fun. So anything else, Misty? Anything else we need to tell them?
I don't think so. We look forward to seeing you. It's going to
Yeah.
be an experience you'll never forget.
Yep.
Really.
Well, if you held on for 21 minutes, you might as well book now. I mean, you already watched the 21-minute video.
You're committed, right?
So I think you're committed. I think you're in. Just go click that book button. We'd love to see you in Boston in June. We cannot wait. We'll see you there. Thanks, friends. Bye.